What is going on, everybody? BobbyFi with my man Eric Sheets. We're going to be talking about NFL Week 7, first look. A smaller week than we've had. That's sort of my initial thoughts. It's definitely smaller with not as many fun games that catch your eye, maybe from a non-DFS perspective. Certainly some games we could do some business with, but overall, it is definitely the lightest slate we'll have for a main slate all season. And I don't have anything else to really add. Sheets, what are your thoughts on the slate overall? And
I don't know. I thought last week was the same size.
3, 4, 5, 6,
10 games, right?
I guess there are 10. For me, it just felt like there was like
because
5.
they have a London game again this week. They have Atlanta against
and there's 6 buys this week.
I don't know who's. I think there's a London game this week.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of buys.
I don't know if there is, but there's 6 buys. That's all I know. I know there's less games this week in the NFL season, I think, than any other week. Okay. So maybe no London game.
All right, so let's see if we can't make some heads or tails of it.
All right, let's pull up your screen and we'll go game by game.
Again, early look. I don't even have. And by the way, I posted like early look stuff on the website, and don't even have ownerships in there yet. So we can only speculate as to what they are going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. This game, this Green Bay Washington game.
Whoa, hold on. I got Carolina, New York Giants.
It's fine. Yeah, it's gonna be different sometimes. Carolina and New York Giants. I'm surprised the total isn't a little bit higher in this game, personally. I am having trouble getting to a whole lot here. I understand Robbie Moore. I keep trying to hang on to the Robbie Anderson thing, but he can't seem to catch the ball. I've never seen anybody drop so many passes in the season. He's done it like just over the last 2 games. He's dropped more balls than most anybody has in the season. I guess my highest level of interest is, I don't even know. I guess Chuba Hubbard maybe, but I don't think I'm going to play anybody from this game personally. Yeah.
So again, I like, and just to kind of tease you a little bit, I mean, I like 5. We usually talk about like which games we're going to attack. I actually do like 5. I have 5 stacks, which I'm kind of interested in. Well, I guess we'll just talk about it when we get to them. This is not going to be one of them. But what's interesting about the Chuba Hubbard play is running back. There's nothing that great, running back wise. So you're going to be able to play like a lot of guys. And I have like right now, like Hubbard rated as one of the top point per dollar running back plays. So I'm presuming that McCaffrey remains out.
My problem is I'm looking at FanDuel. That's the problem. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm looking at FanDuel.
So I do like Hubbard a little bit here, and that is really the only thing I have. Because what I do is I have like 5 games I want to attack, and then I have like kind of one-offs along the way. And I don't really have any one-offs in this game with the exception of Hubbard, but I will include Hubbard in my list of one-off running backs.
Yeah, I agree. I had him at 7,700 on DraftKings, which would have been out of play for me, and instead of the actual price he is. And I actually would say that I would include both Carolina receivers as well. The prices, again, I was looking at the FanDuel pricing, so it got me a little bit off of it. I do think Robbie Anderson and Moore are in play, and that's basically going to be my extent of my interest for the game. But I do think all 3 of those guys are mildly interesting.
This next game for me is a 0. So if you want to talk to me about anybody on the Jets New England game, to me it's like it's a 13-3 game, and I have just literally 0 interest.
I think you can make an argument for Damian Harris.
Okay.
That's probably my favorite, but I actually think it's Jacoby Myers as well. Probably wouldn't play, probably not going to get to Corey Davis, but I don't think these guys are out of play. I think they're right there with a lot of other guys who are on the slate. But in general, I don't love this game, so I'm sort of with you. Definitely feels like a spot where the defenses sort of went out, and you have the Jets at 2.4. So probably the Jets D is my favorite play in this game.
That's not bad.
All right. Kansas City, Tennessee. Do you want to go first?
Yep. So Kansas City is one of my top stackable teams. It's going to be difficult to get in who you want, but we'll worry about that later. I like Mahomes. I like Hill. I like Kelsey. I like Hardman. I also like some Darrell Williams at running back. I like the whole KC offense here. And on the Tennessee side, he's not going to project as a particularly good value, but hell, you have Derrick Henry against Kansas City. I mean, at home in Kansas City, I mean, you could run on them, I presume. And the game probably projects to be pretty close. So it's is probably going to be a smash type play, I guess. I mean, he's not rated as good point per dollar player or anything like that. But who's going to compete with him for raw points? I really have no idea. So he's got to rate really high. And then from the receiver side, I'll just say that on the showdown slate, I went 0 AJ Brown because I feared for that illness and I didn't really want to play him in showdown. And he did nothing in the first half, and then he really kind of caught fire in the second half.
He still didn't really do anything.
What's that?
Nothing fantasy relevant on a
no, nothing really. But he turned out he's the top target, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
And so I'll use him. I mean, again, all Kansas City games you want to try to play. So I like him. And this whole game I think is pretty in play.
Yeah, this will be my main one again. Tyreek Hill. It's going to be Mahomes to Tyreek Hill will be probably my favorite thing of the week. I love Henry on the other side, and I also would like to find something else in Tennessee, whether that be AJ Brown, Julio Jones, or if Julio is unable to go for any reason and Chester Rogers banged up, you could see one of these value receivers potentially popping a little bit. But as of right now, that's pretty much all I don't know who else to run it back with other than Henry at the moment. I will also point out that people have been winning every size tournament lately without having a run back. So you don't always need to have a run back. In this game, it does feel like you probably should because of the high scoring nature of it, but just throwing that out there.
I think Julio sits, by the way.
So if Julio sits, it does open up a little more. And then if he does, AJ Brown does become, extremely even more viable.
And this is not based on anything other than the fact that he was in a close game where they could have used him. I mean, he was ruled out of the showdown game the other day. I think he's out. Yeah. That's my eye test. Whatever, we'll see.
Yeah, makes sense. Washington, Green Bay. This game is interesting more than I think other people think it's interesting. Probably. I do have this as a sneaky potential game, and it's mostly. Look, it's going to be hard to pay up for everything this week, but I think that Devontae Adams and Terry McLaurin on either side are definitely both interesting. I think that what's weird is I know that they lost last week to KC, Washington. They lost by 18. I don't care. Like that's not a game I look at as a real game. I know their defense has been bad all year. I actually thought they played really well in that game. They still gave 31 points to KC. I'm not sure whether I'm siding with which side I'm siding with yet, but I've also seen Green Bay give up, chunks at a time. So those guys are interesting to me. And then I want to figure out, I'm sure Antonio Gibson is going to be on by the time that people are watching this. I'm guessing Antonio Gibson is going to be on the what's it called? I guess he's going to be out. And I think JD McKissick is the obvious running back. He has a fracture, and I kept trying to tell everybody. And Rody's like, "Yeah, I like him anyway." Last week, and I was saying, "No, I don't think you can play it. I just don't think you can do it." Because I initially had a ton of them, but I can't play somebody with a hairline fracture who's a running back. And then you get the weird, like I still am kind of, if Curtis Samuel's a go, I would probably take a shot there. If not, I will take a shot with De'Ami Brown. They had some big play looks set for him last week. I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching a little bit on this game. I just sort of thought the total was a little bit low, but I do have this as sort of like a long shot game. I don't think Heineke's as bad as he played last week. And I think Rodgers to Adams always makes sense. So I sort of thought about that with the McLaurin run back with McKissick. And that works well for me if you want to do that.
I don't think you're reaching at all. I think the Green Bay side of this, and I have them ranked fifth, which is, based on 20 teams, that's ranked pretty high.
Yeah.
And what you could do is you could play Adams, you could play Tanya in a 3,500 in the tight end spot to get off some of the Kelsey, Waller, whatever it is. So I think that makes a lot of sense. And given the fact that Gibson's out, I know exactly where the targets will come back on the other side. You have McLaurin, you have McKissick. You could go double tight end and play Ricky Seals-Jones, right? In this game also. So I think this game is just. I think this game's got all kinds of freaking possibilities. I like this a lot.
Yeah, I think that it's the one I thought I would go with it being lower owned, but maybe after what you're saying, maybe it won't be. But still, I don't care. I mean, if it's hey, as long as it works. And I still think that people are not going to play the Washington side of it other than Ricky Seals-Jones. But I like the McLaurin, Ricky Seals-Jones, and it's by the end of the week though. What happens when Gibson gets ruled out? Then people are going to be all over McKissick. Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. So maybe I actually think if for some reason he could go, Gibson, I still probably would play McKissick because I just think that he's going to get run.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, the next game we get to talk about our guy Sheets, who has sprung himself into the 6.3K. He's put up, what's his he had the slow first week against Philly, but since then he's put up 24, 16, 34.6, and 18.4. And that's Cordarrelle Patterson. I honestly think he's still in play. I think it's still a reasonable enough price to ask. I don't think I'm excited about it as much as I was before when he was 40 whatever 100 and no one was playing him. I'm just curious, where do you think, I mean, it's probably too early in the week to gauge the ownership on him, but if it's really low again, I'm probably going to keep taking some of this shot. Maybe it's and I would say it's being stubborn, but it's not really. It's just looking at consistent production. The guy is basically since the first week averaging 24 fantasy points a game or 25 fantasy points a game. That's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, so I do like Cordarrelle Patterson just a little bit. I know Miami's got a pretty good defense. It doesn't get a show often because their offense has been so dreadful. And then Calvin Ridley feels a little too cheap. That's all I've got for this game, pretty much.
Mike Davis will be more popular than Cordarrelle Patterson again. He will.
Yeah, no, I'm guessing you're right.
But I don't think either of them are going to be particularly owned, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can go back and play him, play Patterson. He's a really good wide receiver, 6,300, who also gets 10 carries a game.
Right.
Yeah. He's a great PPR receiver who also gets 10 carries a game, and it's at a running back position. I don't have him as a priority this week or anything like that, but if he's going to come in a little alone again, I mean, why not? But I don't really have too much from this game in general. I don't like the game. I don't have any particular great one-offs, so I'm kind of off in this game.
Yeah, I actually did want to mention just one more guy. I know you don't like this game, but I just think that in play would be both Jalen Waddle against this defense and especially Myles Gaskin. The problem is they've been splitting too many running back carries for me to have too much interest, but those would be the other guys I'd look at. I do think that Kyle Pitts is going to have a game like a monster game on a main slate because he did it the one time he did it was in London. 5,900 is not insane for his talent level. He just put up 27 fantasy points. So just keep that in mind. I don't know if this is not the week I'm going to do it probably, but we should be ready to play Pitts at what's going to seem like too high a price pretty soon. I'm guessing this is one of your game sheets. So why don't you start us off with Baltimore, Cincinnati?
No.
Oh, this is not one of your games.
I have like zero of this game. The only thing I like in this game, and I do like him, is I like Mixon. I like Mixon from the Cincinnati side, and I don't know. First, this is only what I don't even know what day it is. What is it, Wednesday?
Yeah.
I don't have this game rated for me at all. So I don't know. Maybe am I going to be getting off chalk here? Is that's good news?
No, I think if this game was played a week ago, it'd be 8 to 9 points higher on the total. I really do. The problem is both defenses are looked good last week, but what does that mean? It's 1 week. In general, Baltimore's been the worst run defense in football this season. I don't think they really are. I think they actually are better than that, and it's somewhat fluky. But that's what they showed up as last week, and that's why everybody played all of the Chargers. And Mixon certainly makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know if he's as bad as it looks like, but gonna have to wait to see on Latavius Murray how he's doing before I know my full level of interest in this game. I'm gonna have interest in stacking Cincinnati all the time. They just have, as long as their receivers are priced like this, you just have guys like you could stack you could play either one of them with either Jamar with Chase. You could play either Higgins or Boyd with Chase. Yeah, I probably wouldn't go all three, probably two of them though. And you could do it without playing Burrow. You could do it with playing Lamar on the other side and going over the middle to Mark Andrews, who I think is in a great spot. And I think Marquise Brown is in a decent spot. So I actually do have this as one of my games. So those are the guys who I'm looking at.
The more I'm thinking about this, so Mixon in the game against Green Bay, I mean, he was hurt, and they brought him out of the game towards the end of the game or something like that. Or actually, that was maybe the end of the Jacksonville game. I forget which one it is. He's going to freaking smash this game, I think. I mean, he had a perfect situation last week, with a big lead against Detroit, whatever. But even so, they still gave him freaking 6 targets. Yep. If you're going to get Joe Mixon, both with his rushing upside, and they're actually going to give him targets out of the backfield too. And you got, what's his name? Not the key, but you got Samaje Perine is continues to be on the COVID list. I don't know. Gun to my head right now. I think he's a freaking smash play here. I'm not worried too much about the Baltimore Ravens defense, honestly. I mean, I played them a bunch of times this year in like Survivor or whatever, and they get freaking shredded. You know, so
they just stopped the best offense in football though last week completely.
No, I know, and I get it. You know, but I'll take a shot.
All right. Yeah, I'm into the both sides of that game, so I can definitely. I'm not gonna talk you out.
So what do you think? We have Jared Goff revenge. Jared Goff coming back to the Rams. What do you think?
Oh my God, it's the real revenge is for Stafford. He doesn't get to go play in Detroit, unfortunately. But why don't you go with that game while I load our NBA video?
Yeah, so I do have the Rams as one of the top stacks on the board. And as we saw last week, you know, even if they're a freaking 12, 13-point favorite, it just doesn't matter. like don't not play a team with all those weapons against a bad defense just because you're worried about the blowout. That's exactly what we talked about. I'm like, you know, I remember. So even though the Rams are 15-point favorite, that doesn't mean that they can't get like Kupp and Woods like 5 touchdowns. That's pretty much what happened. So I think all these Rams are in play between Kupp, Woods, Darrell Henderson, etc. And you want to run back from Detroit? They're very easy. You could play Hawkinson. You could play Swift, who I like. Yeah, so I like this game a lot, actually.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a run back game for me. I think you just play the Rams and maybe
slot it. I mean,
maybe you play Swift or something. I don't know.
Play them all and play the defense too for the Rams.
Yeah, I don't know how this game is going to shake out for Detroit. And I got a little, maybe I could say I'm okay with Swift and Hawkinson. That's pretty much it.
Yep, I agree.
You want to start us off with the next one because I'm still trying to.
Yeah. So this is the. I hope this doesn't become the chalky idea, because for me this is kind of my off the board attempt to win all the cheese. Okay, it's going to be the Vegas Philadelphia game. I guess because if I'm seeing it, then everybody's seeing it. But this is what I like. I like the Vegas side. I like what's his name? I like Carr. I like Jacobs. I like Waller. I actually like Renfro. I like Huggs. Always good GPP play. And on the Philadelphia side, I actually really like Miles Sanders.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Who is this guy? It sounds like me.
Yeah, I actually have Miles Sanders right now rated as my top running back on the board. Value adjusted and all that stuff. So I don't think people are going to play this because I don't know, because it just kind of seems stupid to do it. But this is if you told me the Millie Maker was today, this is where I would be focusing as getting to over the field up is Vegas, Philadelphia. And you know, you want to try Devontae Smith in there, that's cool also. But this is where
for Vegas do you like?
What?
Who do you like for Vegas?
I like the best wide receiver, Darren Waller.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And either Huggs or Renfro.
Either Huggs or Renfro. Okay. I'm not quite as high on this game as you are.
Not high on it, but I mean, I need something.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
I like when we don't.
I like Rams and KC, right? And then there's Vegas and Green Bay. That's my deal.
I think Vegas with the emotional win last week, that was one of my calls, which I was happy with.
Yep.
I think that Jalen Hurts to either of the receivers is to any of the receivers, Devontae Smith probably being the best one, is fine. And with the prices of Rager and Watkins, I guess you can. You know, I see why you're liking it. Okay, I can see the value in there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ways you could stack it where you could potentially hit on this. I could see that working. Yeah. Okay. I will put that on my list. It was not one that I initially had targeted. And the Miles Sanders thing, I don't know where I would stand on this thing in general. He is crazy cheap. He has not had a game we'd like except for the first game of the season. But since then, Gainwell's gotten a lot more love. They also have Boston Scott, who's there, even though I don't think he'll do much. I know Sanders has just gotten too cheap, so I guess I got to put Sanders back on my list. It feels bad because I've watched plenty of the Philly games, and it's just not the same thing where they were giving
No.
all the time.
No, it's not.
This is another one that's we have another blowout. These are a lot of lousy games. Arizona, Houston, Sheets. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Arizona defense, probably the best play on the board. That would be my take on this game. I think this game's going to be a whitewash. I think that Arizona will be able to do pretty much whatever they want. And want to play Cooks? I mean, you could try that. You want to play one of the Arizona running backs, maybe Edmonds, I guess you could do that. That's where I'm. Ooh, how about Mr. Zach Ertz coming to Arizona? Maybe they get him one
that's actually a good point. Yeah, I actually
just as a welcome to the team president, a game where they could probably get whoever they want, whenever they want.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe that's worth a shot.
Yeah, there's just so much. There's so many receivers here, and it could be a different guy any week. It's really hard to peg who's going to be the one on a given, on each week. And this is
afternoon slate.
It's strange. Yeah, I'm not going to be heavily invested in this game, and that feels weird because this is the highest total of any team on the slate. I guess they're tied with the Rams are right there too. It's really hard to play Chase Edmonds. Okay, everybody keeps talking about it, and by the way, in real life, I think he's been really good for them. First of all, he's going to do most of his damage from a pass catching perspective, which doesn't really benefit you against Houston all that much because you're assuming they're playing with the lead. So maybe unless he gets one early, you're kind of in trouble. James Conner is the guy who would sort of grind out the game. So he actually is the more logical play to me, but I don't want to pay that. I don't want to play that in a split running back. So I don't know what to do here. So I'm probably going to end up staying mostly away from that outside of Arizona's defense, which, as you mentioned, is the best play on the slate defense wise.
Yep.
All right. Finale.
Yep. Whatchamacallit. So Tampa, again, they're going to project to be a really good play. I mean, they're every week. Every week until Brady retires, I guess, they're going to be a good play. As long as they're going to keep giving them AB, Godwin, and Evans to throw to, it's going to be tough to keep them out of the end zone. That's the best bottom line.
Yeah.
And Fournette just, dude, like 2 years ago, like he was almost like going to be run out of the league, I think, and got in a nice situation there where, I mean, look, it cuts both ways. Receivers do well when you have a good running back to set them up. And Fournette has, he can do really well when he's got all these receivers out there. So they've given him targets. He looks good. I mean, he's going to rate as a good play. I think Chicago, I mean, they play hard. I mean, they'll always play hard, but it's going to be a tough spot for them, I think. You could play Khalil Herbert if you want. You could play Mooney and Robinson if you want, but you can play cheap Cole Kmet if you want. But I don't know. It seemed this feels like the Rams game a little bit. Maybe a lower scoring version of the Rams game where Tampa could just get pretty much wherever they want, whatever they want. So I will say that this is different for me, is that my initial run of these guys actually has Antonio Brown third best as far as like value goes, behind Evans and what's his name, Godwin, where I usually have all kinds of Antonio Brown. For whatever reason, he's not showing up as quite as
they made him more expensive.
Oh, there you go.
Pretty reasonable.
There you have it. Nice. I have no problem playing Tampa. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I've been barking down this the whole year that the best receiver on this team is Antonio Brown, and I don't think it's particularly close. I really believe that.
It's true.
It's just, and I don't know why everybody, some people were mocking me on one of our first videos when I said that. Everything's happened exactly the way I thought it would this year. Personally, one of these guys is probably going to have a nice game. I'm happy to run it back, but I would be much more interested in taking shots the other way. I know that sounds weird, but Tampa Bay loves to play these one-on-one things on the outside. They're going to get burned for big plays all year. They're giving way too much credit to a defense that's really a run-stopping defense, not a pass-stopping defense. I think Allen Robinson and Mooney are both awesome plays. I don't mind running those guys with Justin Fields, and I wouldn't mind even potentially getting a Cole Kmet in there. If I was going to play this game, that's the way I would go about it, and then I'd run it back with something from Tampa Bay with that Evans, Brown, or Godwin. I think Godwin is the best play this week. But I don't think I'm going to play I guess I might end up playing some Fournette because there's not a bunch of obvious running backs. And he's had a couple of monster weeks in a row. And this is sort of a similar game script, I guess you'd say.
Okay.
But I sort of like the Chicago side of this. I think that this is an unowned that I mean, Allen Robinson is at some point has got to show up a little bit, but I think that the talent level is still there. I think they've just missed him on some plays. They do like Mooney. There seems to be a little bit of a rapport with them. And I like taking receivers because they're going to stack the box. They're going to make you go out there and beat them one-on-one on the outside. And if you have the chance to do that, especially with a scrambling quarterback, you're going to be able to be elusive and create some big play opportunities to guys like Mooney or Robinson. I'm not going to go so crazy to say play Damiere Byrd or Marquise Goodwin, but if this was a showdown slate, I would be talking all about those guys because there's a chance that somebody can break a big play against this Tampa Bay team every time. We saw what happened when they tried to go one-on-one with Dallas. Even as they run away with games, they tend to give up a lot of air yards that way. So I'm just open to the Chicago side of it. It's still not my favorite game, but if I was going to stack it, that's the way I would do it and use one or two Tampa Bay guys in the run back. One of either Fournette and Godwin would probably be my two favorites, or Fournette and Brown, or Fournette and Evans. Yeah, any of them are fine. All right, you want to sum it up because you have more games, interested in more games than I do.
Yeah, before we sum it up, just some content announcements or whatever it is. So again, this is a time of year where there's a lot going on. So I don't know if Bobby will probably do an NFL thing with Rhodey over the next couple of days at some point. And on Sunday, I presume him and Rhodey are going to do live before 11:30 on Sunday.
11:30.
What's that?
Yeah, Rhodey and I will get it at 11:30.
Yeah, I'm going to be away for the weekend, so I'm not going to be around for that. But I will. I'll be putting up a showdown projection for Thursday, and I'm probably not going to be able. Just so you guys, I'm going to do my best, but I'm probably from where I am not going to be able to update the projections Sunday morning in case there's like any late news. I'm going to try. But just and I'll post this in the Discord as well. But at 11:30, Bobby and Rhodey will be there to sift through all the late changes and stuff like that. But overall, I don't know. I kind of like this week. So for me, the clear plays are Rams, KC, and Tampa. Right, those are the three games. But then I think my kind of off the board plays are Vegas and Green Bay. Those are the two. Whatever. I think there's enough value in both those games to make it all work. With respect to a couple of one-offs, they're not from those stacked games. Running backs, I would have mentioned Sanders, Darrell Williams from that game, Henderson's from that game. Chuba Hubbard and Derrick Henry are the two running backs that are not part of those games. Wide receivers, pretty much the guys that I mentioned coming from those games. And tight ends, aside from those games, I'll throw in maybe Cole Kmet, really, really cheapo. And and that's about it.
Yeah. So my favorite game is Kansas City, Tennessee. Then I'm struggling with the Baltimore, Cincinnati, which I think I'm going to get onto, and then Green Bay, Washington. And I'm sort of open to because of the pricing. I think your Raiders idea is kind of interesting. And then if you wanted to go, I'm interested in the Chicago value as well at receiver. But I think the Raiders, Chiefs, Eagles, which I didn't have much interest in, I think I could actually see myself getting to some of that, especially because I think the only thing I'm afraid of is everyone's going to want to play Hurst this week. The more you look at the quarterbacks, it's going to be Mahomes and Hurst, I think, and Lamar. Sorry, those would be the three ones they play. I think the Green Bay, Washington, and Baltimore, Cincinnati are the more, at least at the moment, seemingly a little bit more off the board than where people are going to play this week. But that's what I've got. And then for some individual plays. I mentioned Mixon. Most of them are in those games. I'm open to the Sanders Ertz thing. Allen Robinson, Mooney, Godwin is just way too cheap, and so are all those guys. That's why one of the Tampa Bay receivers. But I'm going to be mostly heavily focused, I think, on the Kansas City Tennessee game. This is probably the ugliest week of football I've seen on a Sunday in a long time. Sorry,
cheat slate.
That's right. Cheats is going to win with like 100 points.
Cheat slate. That's it.
All right. Well, good luck to everybody this week. Rhodey and I will be do our picks of the week coming up in the next couple of days, and after that, we'll be live with you at 11:30 Eastern on Sunday. So good luck to everyone.
All right.